What's going on, everybody? It's me, TMZ. First and foremost, thanks for joining. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I really appreciate the outpouring of support from each and every one of you. So keep it up because I think we're on to something special. And that something special is Survivor Series. And if you've been following this series, then you know some of the broad strokes that we are going to hit here in this pay-per-view. But if you need a little refresher, here is the card. Go ahead, read it, and weep, because this is as good as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. At least I hope so, because we have some pretty special matches here tonight. Steamboat Flair 3, Dusty Rick Rude 1, and a lot of interesting traditional Survivor Series matches, as well as a rematch between The Undertaker and Vader. So without further ado, let's jump right into it as the Steiner brothers take on Desolation, the team of Warlord and the Barbarian. Both are fairly new teams in the WWF. Obviously, Desolation is really new, and the Steiner brothers have been getting some good reactions on pay-per-view. So this is another good one. Scott Steiner really stands out. It's definitely, I will say, it's difficult in 12 minutes to get that good of a rating. That's generally a rating you'll get from someone who's mega over. And it's nice to see Rick Steiner is, close to Scott, 16 points there nonetheless. Barbarian, he does well, and Warlord, one of the new people on the roster, he's still trying to get his footing in the WWF. And regardless of the fact that they lose, this could potentially help them slightly. Yeah, it is on the pre-show, but I just thought exposure in this bout would be good for him, so we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled on that. But obviously, the Steiners are coming into their own in the tag division. Then we have Harley Race, who puts on a 91. Did not have much going on for Harley here. I was thinking about, putting him in a traditional Survivor Series match, but I figured, a big win for him in the pre-show over Brad Rengans would be just as good, and obviously it does fairly well, and is a good way to roll into the open of this pay-per-view, as we have the $1 Million Inc. cutting a promo. Obviously, the $1 Million Inc. has been pretty much in the midst of a face change, so to speak. They're getting some plastic surgery because a lot of members are coming in and a lot of members are leaving. Cowboys from Hell are on that list. We saw the Cowboys from Hell just get basically beat to crap. They had the tag titles, and then because of the $1 Million Inc., they would lose those tag titles, and it would also cost Bruiser Brody his match against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. So obviously there is some bad blood there, and they want to go after the leader. They do not know who their team member 3 and 4 will be, Bruiser and Stan Hansen, that is. So we're going to have to see what happens with this match moving forward. But before we get to that, we have the women's traditional Survivors Series match. Subpar Wrestling, non-existing crowd heat. That is okay. We have AJ, Bull Nakano, Wendy Richter, Medusa going up against some of our better faces. This is the Jumping Bomb Angels, so obviously that's why I wanted to have them in. Toyota, a young star, Nagano, another, or Nagao, sorry, another star, and surprisingly, upset victory. Nagao gets the victory here. You can read through this if you would like. I'll just go through some of the in-ring performances very quickly, and then to the story of the match. Taino, that is a tough one. 41, Yamazaki 42, Toyota 56, Nagao 60, Medusa 46, Wendy Richter 55, Nakano 60, and AJ Kong 64. So basically what I was going for here was that AJ would unintentionally cause Bull Nakano to be eliminated in the bout, and then Bull would come, or stay out rather, and cause Kong to be eliminated for the total team loss. A real uphill battle for Nagao that hopefully gets her some juice moving forward. Then we go to the $1 Million Inc. versus the Cowboys from Hell and the Hot Shots, a team of Brian Pillman and Tito Santana. They heroically chose to side with the Cowboys from Hell. It was a decent bout. However, we have the $1 Million Inc. pull out the victory in this bout. Ted DiBiase wins, and it is due to a fast count from the ref, so it seems as though DiBiase was able to pay off the ref here. In-ring performances, Santana 75, Pillman 54. That is probably the lowest in-ring performance we've had from Pillman in a while, perhaps. It says he was off his game, and maybe the fact that it's a bigger bout. I think it was an 18-minute bout, or no, rather, it was 14:30. Sometimes whenever you're in the ring with such large talent like DiBiase, Bruiser, Hansen, the Road Warriors, it gets to your head, and we'll stick with that for now. Hansen 84, Bruiser 88. That is a low score for him. Haven't seen that in a while. Hawk 79, Animals 72, IRS 64. Not too bad. And then DiBiase 93. Obviously, he did stick out here, and he gets the victory. And we are going to move forward into a segment hyping up the rematch between Vader and Taker. They had a kind of no rules brawl at their last encounter on Starrcade, and now we have a last man standing bout. Due to the actual match rating was poor, but they have good chemistry, and perhaps I'm just throwing a prime spot on this card down the drain, but we're going to see if we can break into the 80s, because I think if we can get over the barrier of the fact that they're both heels, it would be a really good bout, because they both performed very well in their last one. Who knows? This is a big risk, but I think it's worth it, or hopefully it will be worth it. But before we get to that, we got Team Brett versus Team Owen. They have been feuding for quite a long while here, and we got a lot of fresh faces in the middle of this card. We got Adonis, who obviously has a shot at Sting, so it'd be in his incentive to take out all of Sting's cohorts. Cactus, who has been kind of thrown into this because he faced Owen and got a win due to Brett. Then Owen had a rematch and Cactus won, but then they both beat him down. And Tenryu, the mean technical Japanese sensation, was also able to be recruited by Brett. Then on Owen's team, he's got his tag partner Bam Bam, and also Dynamite and Davey, who like the cut of Owen's jib, and also Davey is dating Owen's sister. So Definitely showing some favoritism there. And then Sting's tag partner, the Ultimate Warrior, is thrown in as well. And we have we got Davey Boy picking up the victory in this one. Definitely a huge win for him and for Team Owen. Brett goes 0-3 against Owen on pay-per-view. And man, that has got to really stick in the craw of the older brother Brett. And let's go through all the in-ring performances. Warrior 71, Davey 89, Dynamite 84, Bam Bam 75, Owen 72. So they're both jumping up pretty well so far. Tenru 69. I'm just glad we have him back. Hopefully there's no bad news following this bout. Cactus 62, Adonis 88, Neidhart 70, Brett 83. Wow. So that's actually pretty surprising that the Bulldogs are tag champions currently. Were the ones to really knock it out of the park. And then, what was I saying, guys? We did it. In this last man standing bout, I knew it was a possibility, and wow, these guys really knocked it out of the park here. Sensational wrestling, good heat. Vader defeats Taker in 20 minutes, 7 seconds, after Taker could not beat a 10 count following a power bomb from Bruiser Brody, and the plot thickens. Bruiser finally gets some payback on Taker. He seemed anemic following Taker's attack at Halloween Havoc after they carried him out of the ring, but now Bruiser gets some payback, and we are definitely going to have to see where that goes moving forward. That's a juicy storyline, but even juicier than that is the IC title match. This one is very tipsy-turvy, very oh man, a lot of twists and turns in this one. Topsy-turvy. I got stuck in between those two sayings, and a new phrase came out there, so feel free to use it. All credit to me. So go ahead and comment if you end up using that phrase in the future, or your thoughts and comments on the card so far. But we had Dusty retain the title through thick and thin. He's had a lot of challengers come through. Jake the Snake faced Rick Rude at Starrcade for #1 contendership, but Rick Rude would come out on top. So Rude has really snaked his way, no pun intended, into this position, and now he gets a shot at Dusty's title, but Dusty has been able to defend it time and time again, showing his true grit. But can Rick Rude cement his name in the annals of WWF history as an Intercontinental Champion? And the answer to that question is yes. Unfortunately, we had it's the first time these two met. Bad chemistry. It's an 83, so it's not an absolute killer, but it definitely I was hoping this one would be pretty good, but I will take it because that Vader Taker match was an absolute risk, and we all know that karma comes back every once in a while. Nonetheless, Rick Rude becomes an Intercontinental Champion for the first time in the WWF when we get the crowning of a new young star. He was in that crop of talent with Vader, Sting, Brett, and while Brett and Sting recently have had U.S. title reigns, the Intercontinental title still remains one of the most prestigious belts in all of wrestling. So it means it's huge, absolutely huge for Rick Rude to win the title here at Survivor Series of all places. Unfortunately, we're not going to likely see a rematch. Who knows? Maybe in some capacity. It says about that had great heat, decent wrestling. Okay. makes sense. We'll take an 83 here. But the bigger story, the larger story coming out of this one is that Rick Rude is now the IC champion. And then perhaps one of the hottest storylines I have done since Roddy Piper turned heel. The MegaPowers cut a promo on the IV Horsemen. We have been seeing these guys going at it. It all started at the White Wedding pay-per-view when Savage was to be made an honest man by Miss Elizabeth, and she, unfortunately, is still Miss Elizabeth. She has not been seen on WWF television, and the MegaPowers want revenge. The crux of this one is, as we have been doing for quite a while, it's kind of the new stipulation for our Survivor Series matches, or at least the last one of the night. If there is a sole survivor, they will get a title shot of their choosing. Obviously, the bout kind of transcends title shots for Savage and Hogan, because he was very much involved in the White Wedding. Not to mention when Ric Flair gave the go-ahead for Tully, Arn, and Wyndham to powerbomb Miss Elizabeth. That is why she has been out of action and off TV since then. And they have been looking for revenge on each and every single one of the members of the IV Horsemen. And they have been going back and forth for quite some time. Any one of these 8, okay, Hulk, Randy Savage, Misawa, Roberts, Curt Hennig, Barry Windham, Arn Anderson, or Tully Blanchard could potentially get a title shot. It all depends on the sole survivor or survivors is. There is a lot on the line, a lot riding on this bout, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. A good bout, 89. This pay-per-view certainly isn't going to raise the stakes for Survivor Series due to a few missteps, but we get superb wrestling, great heat. There is definitely a story here. Nonetheless, the MegaPowers come out on top. And before we get to the story of the bout, we got Hennig 84, Wyndham 93, Tully 91, Arn 88, Misawa 94, Roberts 86, Hogan 96, and Savage 94. And there is one sole survivor here. And what story we were kind of trying to tell here is that we would get to Hennig and Wyndham and Misawa, Hogan, and Savage. We would have some brouhaha on the outside of the ring as Savage is getting ready to drop the elbow on Wyndham. Perfect hits Hogan. Hogan hits the ropes. Savage gets nutmegged, so to speak. Misawa goes out, chases him off. Wyndham is able to recover. Boom, hits his signature move on Savage. 1, 2, 3. Then Misawa, who is still kind of chasing off, perfect. Leads to Hogan getting into the ring. Then some interference. Perhaps a foreign object is used. Hogan gets eliminated. So we got 2-on-1. Perfect and Wyndham. Then we have somehow Misawa Irish whips Curt Hennig into Wyndham on their side. Wyndham is still recovering outside, so he bumps into Henning. That allows Misawa to get the roll up. Then it ends up being Wyndham versus Misawa. Both kind of young, promising talent. Wyndham obviously had a 5-star main event with Steamboat at Starrcade, so it would not be out of the realm of possibility to see him headline yet another pay-per-view. Misawa has been so close to all of the accolades in the WWF, so I think he would definitely be a fan favorite for sure. Then Misawa is able to hit the Tiger Driver on Wyndham and pick up the win. Obviously, this is all that's for the birds. That is the story, and I'm sticking with it. Let me know your thoughts on that match and Misawa's big win. But without further ado, this is the rivalry of '89 in real life and in this save. Ric Flair, his promos were almost just out of character serious because he knows Steamboat can take him to the limit. But during this pay-per-view, we have backstage Curt Hennig lay out Barry Windham for causing his elimination. But then we cut back. Ric Flair reacts to it, kind of seems to have lost his focus due to this brouhaha, and then the Brain Busters come in and break it up. But back to the rivalry, and this is kind of in a larger scope from a fan's perspective, from a booking perspective. Ric Flair came in, knew he was going to be great. Steamboat, he has been one of the hardest working members of this roster, and for him to have as a tremendous title run as he has had so far has been so satisfying because you kind of grow attached to the characters in this game, and Steamboat is definitely one of those characters. And Flair, while I'm at it, is one of the people who it's like, I need to book a Flair run in the WWF, especially during the golden era. And so far, I am pleased, but there is a lot of story to tell with him, no doubt. And the Steamboat chapter might be coming to a close tonight. This is their third encounter, one-on-one main event for the straps, plural, NWA and WWF. So this might be the close of a chapter, but man, if this is chapter 1, then I want to keep reading this book, to be honest, because Flair has been money, and Steamboat has really benefited from this feud with Flair, but also shown what he is capable of. So regardless of the outcome, I think undoubtedly this is going to be a 5-star bout. I surely hope so. But I think both people are going to have interesting stories to tell moving forward, and maybe this will not be the last time they meet, but I certainly think it necessitated a 30-minute Iron Man match for this main event. I tried to kind of emulate what they had done in real life, so the first bout was just a standard 1v1, then the best 2 out of 3 falls, and then in real life they had the bout that if it were to go 60 minutes, then it would be judged. I figured a 30-minute bout was more definitive, more fitting for this bout. So without further ado, it's Flair, Steamboat 3, and Ric Flair wins back the NWA title and the WWF title. Unbelievable match. Flair wins 3 falls to 2. 100 performance by Steamboat, 100 performance by Flair, and they have good chemistry. Can't you tell? that's how you main event a pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm freaking ecstatic about it. Hopefully, man, maybe I should have won an hour with these guys, and then it would be able to redeem any booking misstep I made on the undercard. But no, I kid. I think this one will probably be in the 80s, one of the lower rated pay-per-views of this year. And that is just indicative of how good Steamboat and Flair's. Wow. Man, I guess I was way off base there. Well, that's awesome. So Vader and Taker help boost this card, and then Flair and Steamboat take it away. Guys, I have decided. I had, if you do recall, a few pay-per-views ago, I asked main events, what do you want to do for main events? In January, we, as a team, will be doing a Cyber Sunday. I need more input. I have decided on my own, and this could change. It depends. If you guys comment and let me know something that you would like more, I'm open ears. But the mystery main event that I feel like would be perfect for Cyber Sunday would be an Elimination Chamber bout. So I need you guys to comment who you would like to see in that bout. And don't feel like you need to limit yourself, and assume that Flair is going to be in it because he's champion now. Who knows what's going to happen in between, November, week 4, November, and January. It is the only pay-per-view in January, and I can give you a rundown, hopefully, for the pay-per-views to follow. Stay with me. But as I'm saying, I need 6 competitors. And, one vote could very well be enough. So anyone within reason, let me know if you would like to see them in the Elimination Chamber bout for the title. There is one pay-per-view in between Survivor Series and that Cyber Sunday card that I am talking about. Okay, so comments here and on the next video are going to be the only votes that will count towards that Elimination Chamber bout. So let me know who you would like to see in it. As I'm saying, one vote could very well be enough. And if you would even like to say who you want your 6 to be, that could work out even better. So if you feel so inclined, go ahead and do that, and I will be trying to peruse through the comments in between now and then. Again, comment 6 competitors you would like to see in an Elimination Chamber bout come January Cyber Sunday. Folks, you've been great. So have I. I appreciate all the likes and subscribes. The subscriber count, it's growing slowly but surely, and there ain't no blue chew that we're taking for that. That's all organic. And thank you all for viewing. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Be sure to comment, and I will catch you on the flippity floop.